The Shepnaz Podcast begins now.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Shepnaz Podcast. We are so excited that you joined us today. I'm Pastor Zack, your host, and I'm loving life right now because I have my good friend, my good buddy, Pastor Nick Shaner sitting across the table from me. Come on, man. High five it. Hey. My dude, welcome in, Pally.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. Well, we're continuing on this new kind of thing that we're doing, you know, and I was saying on the last podcast with, I was recording with Pastor Kev, that this kind of stemmed from an idea of, like, have you ever just said something that kind of came out just because it came out and then it stuck with you and kind of turned into something? I was welcoming people on Sunday morning and I said, you know, every name has a face, every face has a story, or every face has a name, whatever that order was, right? But it got me thinking. It was like, you know, we all have a story. We all have a journey and a testimony, and a lot of times we say that and we just think of like our congregation. And weirdly enough, that like because of our role and kind of like we're just always in the church, and when we're on the platform, we're usually sharing scripture, not like our personal stories. So there's probably a lot of people out there that like don't even know where we've been.
We're people too.
Right. we're just normal folks that just have this as a career and a calling on our lives. But I really thought it'd be cool if we just had conversations with each other about, like, what is your story? I would love to know more of your story. There's pieces I don't even know. And so that's what we're doing, man. We'd love to know your story.
Sure.
And so you can go back as far as you want.
Yeah, that was my question. Like, how far back do we go? Like, once upon a time.
Right.
35 years ago.
Yes, on a dark I don't know what day it was. It doesn't matter. No,
that was exactly right.
Was September?
Yeah. No.
Oh, bummer. I thought I was guessing it. That would have been so cool. No, we're not going to go back that far. But kind of what I'm thinking is, you know, I'd love to know just like your journey coming up, if church was even a part of that, what that looked like. You know, kind of when you gave your life to Jesus, what that looked like, your call into ministry, what that looked like, and kind of what's brought you to where you're at, sitting across from me at this table today.
Geez, we got a lot of ground to cover.
I know, man. It's going to be crazy.
Well,
it's gonna be
yeah,
good.
I guess let's just jump on in.
Yeah. Feet first, baby.
Yeah, so I've definitely had a journey to this point, like all of us.
Right.
It's not just, woke up and here I am. No. But I actually like telling my story. It's been very foundational to my life, to my call, to just how I view things. And so I have had a little bit of practice telling it, just testimony type style and over the years and in different contexts. But so I'll do my best to hit some of the kind of the main points, and feel free to, if something comes to your mind, ask or push into it a little bit. But so I grew up in a very small country town, Northwest Ohio. I have 3 brothers, mom and dad. We all grew up, and it was the kind of small country town where, by default, everyone was Christian.
Right.
Like that was just what. If you were something else, it was like,
who are you?
It was like you knew that person was something else, and like, ooh, and it wasn't good.
Right.
But very small. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew everybody's business. Like,
right. I was gonna say, like, it's dangerous.
Yeah, like half of everybody is related to, like, you know, someone close, and so it was just that kind of context. And grew up in a small Nazarene church there, outside of Waynesfield is where I went to school. Waynesfield, Goshen.
Hey.
But small church. Grew up in that context, and I actually grew up in the church. But I can remember when we first started going to church. So my mom was the first one to kind of get our family. I was probably, if I can remember correctly, like 4 or 5. Okay. When we started going to church, it's like a vague memory. Like, okay, I remember that. But I more specifically remember so my mom worked in a hospital, and every other week we would she would work the weekends at the hospital. And so every other week when mom was off, we would go to church. When it was just dad, we wouldn't. And I can remember, like, not like clearly, but I can remember the feeling of when dad started taking us to church on his own and without mom. And we were all like, me and my brothers, what are we doing?
Right.
Get up, we're going to church. but mom's at work.
Right.
Doesn't matter. We're going. So I can remember that at a very young age, but grew up in that, and in that context, it was just like, yeah, I'm a Christian. But I can remember it was at one vacation Bible school, and we hated going to church. So we grew up in the church, but we were still old enough to remember like before that.
Right.
And then now this is reality. We're like, we don't like it.
Right. Making us be here every week. Come on.
For a lot of different reasons, but like we were the only kids in the church.
Right.
And so, but I can remember one vacation Bible school where I was with actually one of my cousins, go figure. And we were sitting next to each other there at one of the evenings, and it was like the altar call, kind of come forward and pray at the altar.
Right.
And I remember sitting next to my cousins, we were daring each other. Go up, you go up. No, I'll go up. No, you won't. Yes, I will. That type of thing. And I remember, to prove a point, I went to the altar out of a dare. And honestly, for a long time, I never shared that part of like my testimony.
Yeah.
Because I felt like, I don't know, it was illegitimate or something. But when I went to the altar, like something happened. My pastor started praying with me, and it was in that moment where I saw like, I do need Jesus. And so even through that dare, I still kind of point to that moment as like, okay, that was when I did accept Jesus into my heart and asked him to forgive me and be my savior. So I grew up, that was probably 7 or 8 years old, growing up in that context with that. I always tell people that, like, yeah, I believed in God, believed in Jesus, but Jesus was just kind of on the back burner.
Right.
Something that just by context, like, yeah, that's what I am. I'm a Christian.
Right.
Okay. What else is there other than that?
Yeah. More of like a thing on a name tag than a life you were living.
Yes. It was kind of like the nominal Christianity types in name only.
Right.
Because honestly, that's how everybody around me was.
Right.
Just looking back, like, let's be honest, I'm a Christian. Like, even in the moment, I can remember as like a young youth person, like even my friends, I'd be like, I don't know if you are.
Right. You're not quite you're not walking that walk there, pal.
Yeah. But even though I was kind of that way as well, Jesus was a priority, not the priority. Like, okay, yeah, I believe in God. I'll try to be a good person. But I had interest in many other things,
right.
Sports, kind of popularity, relationships, those types of things. And so much of my middle school, high school years, that was what it was about.
Right.
Grew up in that context, like, okay, everybody knows me. I'm good at sports. Like, I have friend groups, and so like I had everything.
Everything a teen could want.
Yes.
You had
yes.
that.
And so it wasn't until like after graduated high school, graduated in 2009.
A great year to graduate high school, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
We're getting older.
Yeah, we are.
Older. We're not
older,
old.
yes. I like that.
But we're getting older.
Yeah.
But there was like, just to give you context of like how small our school was, there was, I think, 40 or 36, 38, somewhere in that range in my class, graduating class. So
that is wild.
Yeah, everybody knew everybody.
Right.
It was
I think I was one of 600 in my graduating
Yeah, that was
class.
almost the entire village of Waynesfield.
That's
like 1,000 people. But so after graduation, one by one, those things that I'd been building the foundation of my life on began to crumble, began to give way.
Right.
Something pretty traumatic happened. I don't know if I want to go into super big detail.
You don't have to.
But just it involved relationship. I had a girlfriend at the time, and there was a very specific moment that happened with other people in my life. And involved in that, it was just like small town drama type of stuff. Right. And but that sent me kind of on a spiral. Like the beginning of things giving way in my life, where I had a firm footing up until that point. But one by one, sports went away. I wasn't playing sports anymore. Relationships, friend groups. I went off to one of the Ohio State branch campuses in Lima. Actually had a half ride scholarship, academic scholarship to go there. I ended up losing that because I was put on academic probation because when all of those things started to happen and give way, I slipped into a little bit of a mini depression where I tell people that it wasn't like I was actively thinking harmful things.
Right.
But I did have some negative thoughts of like, man, life stinks. Life stinks. Nobody knew me anymore.
Right.
I was one in a mass of people.
Right.
I didn't have the other foundational pieces.
Yeah. Well, everything you knew that was comfortable is now gone. That'll rock you.
And it's a weird time in a person's life to begin with, transition, so in the midst of that, I wasn't going to class, didn't want to be there. I was pursuing engineering, but that was just kind of like, well, they make a lot of money. I'm good at math. I'll go be an engineer. Well, I can remember actually one class. It was it was some science class. I think just the introduction science, whatever it was. I can remember there walking into my final. I hadn't gone maybe a handful of times I'd gotten to class. Walked into the final. The professor passed out the exam, and I just remember looking at it and be like, I don't know any of this. And I walked up and turned it in blank.
Wow.
I got an F in the class, or
an
E. I don't know if they used Fs. I think it was E. So through all that, got put on academic probation. It was like, what do I want to do with my life? And didn't really feel like life was worth living, to be honest. Very directionless, purposeless. Just like, well, what is the point of all this? Life would just be easier if I wasn't here.
Right. Type
of thoughts. And it was finally it got so bad. I mean, I was barely going out at all. Of the house, still lived with mom and dad. I was able to commute. But it was one night where it got so bad where I was just like crying out to God. I think it was rock bottom for me at the time, where I was like, I have nothing left.
Right.
At least I felt like in looking back, I still had family.
Right.
But in the moment, you feel like I have nothing.
Yeah.
And so I turned to God and just said, God, I need you. And there was one night I can remember just talking with my pastor and throughout this journey. And that was good. Things started to get a little bit better, just kind of looking more to God for things and answers and purpose. And but there was one night where I just was talking to God, and I still, well, since kids, this has changed the game. But before kids, in the middle of the night is when I like to talk to God, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And there was one night where I was just talking to God, and I felt God very clearly say, not audible, but very clear in my mind and my heart, ask me, Nick, what do you want your life to be about? So I answered right back. I said, I want my life to be about you. So that was where it shifted a little bit, a major bit, from, okay, Jesus, you are a priority, to where you are the priority.
Yeah.
You are the one I'm living for. And so that's kind of rededicated my life, just through all that background leading up to that point, said, okay, I'm going to start living for Jesus.
Yeah.
And so that went on for a while. But then there was, I ended up finishing out that school year, the next semester, did okay. that next summer, I was working in a factory job. It was miserable.
Yeah.
Have you ever worked factory job?
I have.
I've worked several.
I've worked a lot of weird jobs, and I worked.
That'd be a fun podcast.
That would be a fun podcast. Oh, I've worked some weird jobs. That needs to happen.
Yeah, that would be good.
Note it. We're doing it. It's happening.
So one of the factory jobs, weird jobs I had was vehicle brake parts. All I did all day for 10 hours was dumped out a box on a table and put those parts in a bag and hit a button for 10 hours.
That's brutal.
Miserable.
That's brutal.
It was hot. I mean, there was no air conditioning. Stinky. It was just bad. But I was working there one shift, and we had a guy next to me working. He had some mental challenges. He was an older guy. But he said to me, Nick, I think you should be a priest. Well, I missed a part. Yeah. So leading up to that, it was in that brake factory that I heard a passing thought. Go to Mount Vernon to be a preacher. Like while I was sitting there, just hitting my buttons. Go to Mount Vernon to be a preacher. And I thought, okay. It was just like a thought.
Right. I
tried to dismiss it, but that thought wouldn't go away for days, weeks, months. And then while that was taking place, the guy next to me, out of the blue, says, Nick, I think you should be a priest. He grew up Catholic.
Yeah.
So that was the language he used.
Yeah.
I said, well, why do you think that? He's like, I don't know. I just think you would be a good priest. Not knowing I'm having these thoughts, go to Mount Vernon and be a preacher. I had a radio that I would listen to, and all the messages that would come across on that Christian radio station that I'd listen to always seemed to bring me back to like God's call. God calls us. And so that went on for a couple months to where it was like, okay, geez, I really maybe should consider this. It got so annoying. I prayed one Saturday night, Sunday morning at like 2 in the morning, God, if you want me to go to Mount Vernon to be a preacher, I need to know that you are the one telling me that. Like it's not just my thoughts telling me that.
Right.
Because I don't want to go to Mount Vernon. I don't want to be a preacher.
Right.
That's it. I don't want to do that.
Better be you, because all the things I'm hearing ain't on my to-do list.
So I just, please God, let me know that that's you. Just show me, tell me, please. That next morning, later, it was like 1 or 2 in the morning, whenever it was, the next morning at church, our pastor preached a message on God calls us to do things that we don't see coming, and we don't know how it's going to work, and he calls us, and it was like, wow.
Yeah.
So I had not told anybody about this. And so I went there was an altar call, went to the altar. And I kind of point to that as like an entire sanctification moment where it was like, oh God, you have every key to every room in the house. Like you have full access. I'm all in. I give my life to you like completely. And it was just an incredible experience. Like when I was praying, I do the best I can to describe it, but it was like I was engulfed in just blinding white.
Wow.
Like I was praying with my eyes closed, but it was just like,
yeah, you can still see that light through your eyelids, man.
Like,
oh.
And it was just such an overwhelming presence of God. And oh, it was so good. Really the only time that's ever happened, ever. I mean, you want those moments every day.
Right.
But the reality is that was like, wow, I've never had that.
God's proof of answering, like, this is me, bro.
Yeah.
this is me.
And so I went on to tell my pastor like later that Sunday, and he was shaking his head like as I was telling him what was going on. I said, I think I got to go to Mount Vernon to be a preacher. Like he's been telling me in your message. He's shaking his head. Yep. I'm like, why are you shaking your head? Yeah. He's like, well, when I first moved here, there was this was like 10 years ago at this point. There was a Sunday where after Sunday service, we were eating lunch, and I told my wife and family that I feel like God's going to call a preacher from this church. And she said, who? And he said, Nick Shaner.
Wow.
And I was like, no way. He's like, yes. And never told me that. He told my parents like way back, but they thought he was crazy because I was challenging in some ways. I mean,
not preacher-esque.
yeah. Like, oh man. So I told him, I was like, wow, that's crazy. Went out, and he's like, well, you got to tell your parents. I'm like, okay. So I told my mom, and she starts bawling like happy tears.
Yeah.
But just like, oh my gosh. I told my dad, and Dad's like, oh, that's good. I'm like, okay, all right. Both equally as happy.
Right.
Expressed very differently.
Right.
So off I went to Mount Vernon. That's a huge part of my story, testimony.
That's awesome.
Kind of sent me on the journey. Went to Mount Vernon, and it was, and just being honest, like I went off to Mount Vernon very like clearly knowing I'm supposed to be here.
Right.
I'm supposed to be here. I know that. But I was very surprised to find out Mount Vernon, Nazarene University, was not full of faithful following Jesus people.
Right.
You
mean the Christian school isn't full of Christians?
It just like, oh my gosh. Like I thought there was parts of my hometown that I thought I was leaving behind, like only to find out, okay, it's still here.
Right.
And so that was like a challenging kind of start to it. But it ended up being like, I had a great experience at Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
Just loved my professors and classes and my roommates. I had the same 5 roommates for the 3 years that I was there. It was just a great experience. After graduation, started to pursue just ministry opportunities, led me to youth pastor. I was like, did that for 2 years, knew that's not for me long-term, I don't think.
Right.
It was good experience, but it was like, wow, okay.
Yeah. You learned some things.
I learned a lot of things. Did that for a couple years. Actually, there's actually people that go to Shepherd that were in my youth group.
Which is weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Actually, in last fall, we were in a small group with them, which is even weirder. It's like, wow, I was your youth pastor. Now we're kind of hanging out in a small group together.
Wild.
Yeah. Josh and Hannah, if for
Yep.
those listening.
Shout out Josh and
Hannah. Just so I look to them like, okay, maybe I played a small part in their faith journey. And I was actually witness to that coming together way back when. Now they're married, kid. And, so good stuff. But did that for a couple years, went off to lead pastor a church in Indian Lake for almost 5 years. Just a great experience there. People that still close with and talk with and hear from. Just a great experience, kind of first go at lead pastor type of stuff. So it was very difficult leaving that place to come here. But God's been good even to this point here with our time at Shepherd. And yeah, I'm sure. Is there anything else like you want to know along the way, or
no? Man.
I'm kind of.
I think that's pretty good.
That's kind of like that's the. I don't know.
No,
I feel like I hit the ministry stuff, but I don't know if you wanted more like tell me your story like personal.
I mean, I think you hit what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's another time that we can keep unpacking that, but I think like the main thing I'm taking away from all of this, and like, because if we're taking a look behind the veil of recording these, we've done. If you can't tell by this shirt and the hat that I've worn for the past 7 episodes that you're about to witness at some point, like we did a lot of these today. And what I love hearing and what you totally nailed on the head is like, you know, what it means to like hear God's call on your life. Right. And for all of us, you know, because we work here, you know, that led to vocational ministry. But the reality was like every single one of us at some point has had this moment of like, okay, God, I had like what I thought was my plan. And I think everybody's been like, nah, God, we weren't going to be pastors. Like we were going to be preachers, you know? But the reality was like God put a call on all of our lives. And every single person that I've had this conversation with today has had a moment, one, of people speaking into your life, and two, that they had already kind of known ahead of time of like God had kind of spoken to like your pastor, like this guy has it, like seeing stuff in us that we didn't see in ourselves at the time.
I was like sleeping on the pew.
Right.
I was still listening, but by all like appearances, you know, we didn't like being there.
Yeah.
I can remember telling my parents, when I'm 18, this church stuff, I'm done.
See ya. Yep.
You can't make me go. I won't go.
Funny the way the word
Here we are.
works that out, isn't it?
Every Sunday and throughout the week.
Right. You were doing all the church.
Yeah.
Doing all the church.
It's crazy, but I don't know. That was great. Did I hit enough personal stuff? Like there's personal stuff along the way too of just like I said, like that was when I gave my life totally and accepted that call. Like that was so clear.
Right.
But like after that, it's never been that clear.
Right.
There's been moments like, God, what's going on?
Right. Talk to me here.
Talk to me. Like be so clear. Like I just need to know. And like there's sometimes nothing. And I've wondered, God, are you leading us here, this way, that? And it's just not been that way all along the way.
Right.
But all along the way, we've had a peace that I think is from the Lord.
Yes.
And that's been, you know, just great to have along the way too.
Yeah.
So maybe not the clear, like, oh yeah, like those big moments, like, but that gentle whisper of it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
No, that's great. So. And in fact, I think that might be the perfect place to end this because to me, that's a message that I think is very specific to everyone, you know, and something I've been hearing along the journey of everybody's stories is like, just because you say yes, it's not a golden ticket to a perfect, easy life, right? You know, stuff happens and there's going to be times where we feel like, okay, God, anytime now, like you could tell me anytime now, but when we are following and when we're letting him lead the way, there is this piece about the unknown. There's this piece about, okay, God, I don't have the answer, but I know you do. And if I follow you, you're going to lead me to where you want me to be. And I think that is for every single one of us, man.
Difficult sometimes, but always good.
Totally worth it. Totally worth it. Well, dude, thanks so much, man.
Yeah,
I know we could always talk for a million years.
Yeah, I hope that hit the mark. So.
Yeah, I believe it did. And I know that there's people out there that just need to hear these things, man. I think that's the beauty of why we're having this conversation is one, we're just people, dude. Like we're just normal people who have accepted a call of ministry on our lives. But God's speaking to all of us in one way or another. And we would love to pray with you as you're maybe wrestling through that. You know, maybe you're in that season we were just talking about of like, we're waiting to hear that voice. You know, we're a family that wants to lift each other up. And so if that's you, please reach out to us, man. We'd love to pray for you. But for Pastor Nick, I'm Zack. Y'all have an amazing day.
This podcast is a production of the Shepherd Church of the Nazarene, Gahanna, Ohio. Email to podcast@shepnaz.org and let us know what you think.